So now we're down to
So
5.
we've got a good quorum, so.
Yep. Okay, we're back in open session, guys.
Yeah, we are maybe recording, so. So, are we back on, Deputy Clerk? We are. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're back in session, in open session.
Okay, thank you. And
I
now
do have a
to-
motion, Mr. Mayor, that moved by Councillor, Deputy Mayor Wink, sorry, and Councillor Eckhart, that council reconvene the regular meeting. And just
No.
technical, I just need
Okay,
a vote on
sorry.
that.
All those in favor? And none opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so now moving to presentation and consideration of reports. 17.11, we have Councillor Olson with an update on the Niagara Regional Transit.
Thank you. Council Olson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the deputy clerk has my presentation on the board, and I thank her and Ms. Ravizolo for assisting me in this. But the purpose of this report is to bring you up to date on on some really important developments at the Niagara Transit with respect to Pelham, because this was on the July 2nd, effectively, the service will be changing to expand quite a bit. So, the next slide, please. And I wanted to make point of the NRT recognition by Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators, which I assume Mr. Cribbs is a member of that. So we were pleased to see that, because it was recognition of the cooperation within the municipalities of Niagara region to develop this program, and I think it's a worthwhile recognition of that. Next slide, please. We've moved now from phase one, which we called it smoothing, but it was really consolidating and optimizing the system. And today we're at the stage where we're going to be developing a commingling plan that will allow people to get on a vehicle anywhere in Pelham and go to a number of places, vast number of places within the region. And now we're going to be able to share vehicles with. We're going to use our digital capabilities to now pick up rides and pick up 2 or 3 people on the same ride. And then phase 3 will be a master plan, which we will deliver in the third quarter. And that's going to include our facilities, our strategic assets, and our service network master business plan, which I think has to be there for any type of a business to operate properly. Next slide, please. This is what to say here is that we're now going to have expanded hours from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, starting on the 2nd of July. We're going to have Saturday service. And the real genius of this whole thing has been the request for proposals, which we got from our suppliers, and we built in the possibility of Sunday service and Sunday and holiday service, including Christmas, Easter, and New Year's. So it's going to be quite a big thing, but the intention is to build a reliable and seamless transit experience for people. And we did this with a cost reduction over the period of time of 20%. So it's a substantial savings, and that allows us to expand a few more services within the Niagara region. And the next slide, please. The locations that are added. This is the key thing. Is you can we're now going to add 3 locations in St. Catharines, the bus terminal, the hospital, and Brock, and then you won't have to change a vehicle to go there. 4 locations in Welland, the bus terminal, Seaway Mall, Niagara College, and the hospital. And a really big step is that the specialized services, which moves disabled people. For the qualified people, they can go from any origin in the region now to any destination. So they're not required to get out of the vehicle to go to different things. And that has been a wonderful thing for a lot of people, I think, because of the people have, a lot of people are disabled themselves, and they have people in nursing homes and things like that, and now they can get in one vehicle, and go and visit their relatives in the home. And the other thing I'm sure next slide, please, is we added new KPIs like vehicle capacities. These are the key performance indicators. On-time performance, the target's 95%, which we've contracted. Vehicle capacities, the not booked in advance wait times are going to be 30 minutes. That's the target. And all vehicles are going to be equipped with GPS tracking and cameras for safety. We have new standards for vehicle quality and appearance and driver training. And we have standards for management and supervision, and this is all going to be according to the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disability Act. And I want to mention some of the things that we've been undertaking. Our branding exercise involved the ATU, the Amalgamated Transit Union, and the staff, frontline staff. Many of them who live in Pelham and work here, live in Pelham and also work for the transit. And there was a universal sense of that customer service is the big part of the process. And a lot of the direction came from the people who work in the front lines in customer service. And it's been a terrific experience in doing that. I'm going to read off the list of places that you can now go seamlessly from Pelham. Grimsby, Lincoln, West Lincoln, Waynfleet, Port Colborne, St. Catherine's Hospital, Welland Hospital, Niagara College, Brock, St. Catherine's Terminal, Welland Terminal, Seaway Mall, Port Colborne City Hall, and that's the list now, that you can go there seamlessly. And of course, as I said to you before, the people riding on the specialized transit can go anywhere, and those are huge advances, and that takes place on the 2nd of July, and there's of course there's an app for that, and that app is let me read if I can find it here again. Niagara Region Transit Plus app, and that'll be advertised in the paper. So that concludes my report, sir.
Thank you for that detailed report, Councillor. Excellent, very good news in that for sure. Good to see that the handicapped people can now get on one vehicle and go to their destination. Excellent.
And we bought 11 new vehicles yesterday at the council at transit session, and it's going to be all brand new, specially designed for specialized transit.
Wow, excellent, excellent. Any councillor have any questions or comments on the report? I've just, you said that the 20% reduction in cost, and now after this, do you see the cost of the overall budget increasing because of these steps?
No, there were five previous contracts, and they were much smaller contracts, and they've all been amalgamated. The only one that's still outstanding until the 1st of October is Fort Erie. And once we get Fort Erie on there, you'll be able to go to Fort Erie as well. So,
okay.
But we had to wait till all the contracts expired, and that was the end of this month, and that's why I had to tell you this today, because this is happening very quickly. So.
Yes. Excellent. Well,
I don't see any reasons unless it's to change capacities, but I don't think the cost will change very much for.
Excellent.
And that's the part that affects us, and we're only like we represent 2% of the population, so we,
Yes.
and then the part that's still waiting is the fixed system, because they haven't been extended into the new subdivisions and all those things, so that might be, that's where the next cost will come from.
Excellent. Well, a big step for sure in Niagara Transit. So thank you for bringing that report to council. Turn to the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Niznik and seconded by Councillor Eckhart. Be it resolved, the council received the Niagara Regional Transit update from Councillor Olson for information.
Thank you. Any further comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Motion passes. Carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving now to staff reports requiring action. The first one, 17.2.1, rehabilitation or replacement options for Fire Station 1, 2024-0119 under Public Works. I have a motion moved by Councillor Eckhart, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved, the council receive report 2024-0119 for information, and that council provide direction to staff to move the project forward either as, and here's an option for council, as a demolition and complete new rebuild, or as a renovation to the existing Station 1.
Okay, thank you. Comments, discussion on this report? Probably defer. I turn to Deputy Mayor Wink.
Yes, so looking at the existing fire station, there's many issues with respect to the health or viability of the station. There's a huge crack in the blocks that I'm not sure if they can be repaired. All the lintels on the windows are decaying. There's been roof issues over the last number of years, and I don't think you can continue putting lipstick on a pig. I think and to throw on top of that, the accessibility of the washrooms are not there. It's not compliant. So I think the only way moving forward would be to demolish the station and replace the station with a new structure. So that would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Maybe before I go to other members of council, the one person present that spends a fair amount of time in the building, Chief Limburner, comments on the existing structure, perhaps.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, there's a number of, I can go on for quite some time with some of the things that are deficient in the building. And when it was built in 1982, it was, quite the building. It served it well. At the time for our responses and the equipment and the manpower we had, it did well. But it's come to a point where it's, we have 3 people in one office. We have, the roofs are leaking. The plumbing has failed. We have toilets and urinals and that have just been blocked off because they can't repair them. There's deficiencies throughout the building. It's not accessible. I go on and on and on about it, but it's, and it is a public building, and we use it for, voting and a variety of other things. So and there's no lockers and showers for decontamination. If firefighters come back from calls, they got to take everything home with them. There's just no facilities to handle any of those things that we have to deal with today. So there's a number of health and safety issues that the Ministry of Labor have addressed amongst other fire stations throughout the region, and we fall under a bunch of those categories. So.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And I've been in your office in the building itself on a rainy day, and the distribution of steel buckets to catch the raindrops is impressive. That you and your crew put up with that for as long as you did. And as Councillor Wink stated, I think we've done 2 roof repairs over the last 5 or 6 years. So, and obviously the first one didn't take as such, so we had to do the other one. And I don't know if you're still having the bucket brigade out, but like I say, you've the building. quite obviously has reached the end of life stage, and yeah, and a decision by this council will have to be forthcoming rather soon, sooner than later, I believe. Any other comments? Councillor Eckert.
I agree with Councillor Wink's comments. I think whatever this council decides to do in regards to Fire Station 1 has to be a new building and not refurbishing or renovations to the existing building. I think we'd just be passing the problem on down a few years down the road. So we got to take this step now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Nesnick.
Yes, thank you. I would concur with Councillor Wink and Councillor Eckert that we also move forward. I think the 42-year-old building has served the town of Pelham very well, but there are some major structural concerns over it, and I think once you've read the report, it would be more costly to refurbish than replace.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm convinced that we need to replace the building and not refurbishing as well.
Okay, thank you. I turn to the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the consensus I hear is the resolution would be it resolved that council receive the report 2024-00-0119 for information, and the council direct staff to approve the budget moving forward as a demolition and new build for replacement of Station 1.
Yes. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? None opposed, unanimous, passed, motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving now to item 17.2.2. I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Wink and seconded by Councillor Nisnik. Be it resolved, the council now receive report 2024-0142, Merritt Road rehabilitation between Line Avenue and Rice Road for information, and that council approve the award of the capital repairs to Merritt Road to C Circle P paving in the amount of $107,415 plus the applicable taxes, and that council directs staff to fund the capital repairs to Merritt Road using the funds from the general contingency for Quaker Road reconstruction project RD 09-24 cost center 300683 for discussion and vote.
Thank you. Before I turn it over to council, I did have a resident either yesterday, yes, it was yesterday, from Merritt Road, and when he found out that it was going to be a council decision one way or the other, hopefully council approves this, he was very overjoyed with the construction taking place on Quaker Road. Merritt Street is being taken a lot of the additional traffic, and it is indeed showing the wear and tear. I will go to the Director of Public Works. Anything to add? The report pretty thorough, but if you did have any comments.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. So this section of road, particularly between Line Avenue and Rice Road, is seeing an increased volume of traffic, truck traffic, vehicular traffic, and also heavily used by active transportation users, cyclists, walkers. The road condition itself is very narrow. It's a rural cross-section. The region of Niagara has recently completed an environmental assessment study looking at expanding Merritt Road and extending it from Rice Road all the way through to the 406. So that study is now complete. And what I can tell you is that the plans based on the preferred design are to extend Merritt Road from Rice Road at least to Cataract Road with a semi-urban cross-section which would be very similar to what we have on Pelham Street, where we would have storm sewers curb, but it would outlet to a ditch. They've also provided provision for an off-road cycling facility to the north side of the road. On the heels of that study, the town actually is looking at undertaking its own environmental assessment study on what would be the preferred solution and alternative to rehabilitate and reconstruct Merritt Road from Line Avenue to Rice Road. We do have that project in our 10-year capital forecast, but it's about 5 years out. Based on the current traffic that the road's seeing and the amount of users and the condition of the road, we don't think it'll last that long. So this report is basically asking council permission to use general contingency funds that were part of the Quaker Road project to fund a repair job to Merritt Road to make it safe for vehicular use, pedestrian use over the next 5 years until we can come up with a final solution on what we're going to do to reconstruct Merritt Road. So there are some further discussions happening with the region. The regional trunk line sewer that's going in between Rice Road and Pelham Street on Quaker they're closing the road for that purpose. Hence, a large volume of traffic is being diverted onto our local roads, and we're going to be seeking assistance from the region as well to share in the cost for the rehabilitation of Merritt Road. That's where we stand right now. We understand that there's something that needs to be done and looking to get council's blessing to move forward with the repair this summer.
Okay, thank you for that background. Councilor Eckert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would be supportive of this. Line Avenue has taken a beating in the last little while, and when and if the project goes through for the region to extend Merritt Street all the way through, and then thus our urbanization of that area, well, we don't know how long that is down the road, and it could be as much as 5 or more years. Therefore, I would be supporting this. I think the volume of traffic that's going down there, even if Quaker Road is available, has increased over the years, and we need to do something with that road now. So,
Okay, thank you for those comments. Councilor, any, see Deputy Mayor Wink?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Director of Public Works. How long would it take to remediate the road? Because my concern is Quaker Road is closed now, and we're going to be remediating that stretch. What's the time period, and will the entire road have to be shut down for a period of time, or what's the logistics behind that?
To the Director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, good question. So we will work with the Niagara region on scheduling that and staging that work for Merritt Road when we can open up that portion of Quaker between Light Avenue and Rice Road on the regional project. The regional project is currently working from Rice Road to Line. Once they're anticipating, I think, getting that section completed later this summer, then they'll move over from Line Avenue to Quaker Road, which will hopefully allow us to open up some detour routes on Quaker Road itself, and then that'll give us the opportunity to do the rehabilitation work on Merritt. I don't know at this point in time if it would require a full closure of the road. It may be done with traffic control so we can keep the road open. That would be what would be anticipated at this point, but we would definitely stage it with the region so that we don't have those two parallel sections of road closed at the same time.
Okay, thank you for that.
Right. Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions, comments? Not seeing any. Call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving now to 17.2.3. I have a motion moved by Councillor Eckhardt and seconded by Councillor Olson. Be it resolved that Council will receive report 2024-0147, request for a temporary parking agreement for 140 Summersides Boulevard for information, and that Council authorizes and directs staff to enter into a license agreement with Mountain View Homes to provide a temporary parking lot for employee use, which agreement shall be in a form satisfactory to the town solicitor and substantially in the same form as the draft attached here to you for discussion and vote.
Okay, thank you. After reading the report, any questions, comments? Deputy Mayor Wink?
So I acknowledge that Mountain View has been a great corporate citizen for the town of Pelham and in fact, the region. And I would like to assist them as much as possible. I question, however, $100 a month for the parking lot, considering that if I were a resident on Summerside Drive and I parked my additional car in the MCC, my one car, it's $100 a month. Niagara Regional Transit is paying us $700 a month to park in our parking lot. So I'm just asking, how did we come up with $100 a month for the parking of numerous vehicles on our lands? So
I will go to the CAO.
Well, it's unfortunate you picked me because I don't know the answer to that, which is why I'm about to turn to my left. And hopefully, Mr. Marr, I think, was the lead in those negotiations, so I think he can shed some light on that.
Okay, to the Director of Public Works, Mr. Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I believe the rate was based on what the parking was for a vehicle at charging per month at the MCC. That's something that definitely could be re-looked at in terms of financial compensation.
Councillor, back to you, Councillor Wink.
yeah, my suggestion would be that we go back and negotiate something a little more appropriate than that, like somewhere between the $100 and the $700 would be reasonable.
And Director of Public Works, do you see any drawback to that? Is that a possibility? Oh, I see the CAO is wanting to speak.
For business efficacy purposes, I think you could endorse this and simply give staff the discretion to, direction to seek richer terms of trade. But whether it's, if it got to 500 a month, which might be a reasonable number, it'll be a de minimis kind of amount relative to council's consideration. So if the fundamental action of trying to be a good neighbor to a builder that's built some excellent quality housing in this community and will enable it to go forward with the next stage is agreeable to council, we'll figure that out we'll take your direction. And then we don't have to come back. We could get it done in the next month, one assumes.
Deputy Mayor Wink?
Yeah, so I have no problem with the concept of them parking their vehicles while they're constructing the next building. It's just the fee, so I'll leave it to staff to negotiate that.
Okay, thank you, Deputy. I think we'll take the direction. Thank you. So on any other comments? Not seeing any, call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So now moving to item 7.2.4. I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Wink and seconded by Councillor Olson. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2024-0152, proposed amendments to the business licensing bylaw for information, and that Council approve in principle the proposed amendments to the Town of Pelham's licensing bylaw 3186, brackets 2011, as presented. To you for discussion.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this bylaw? I don't know if no comments from Town's Legal, okay, thank you. After reading the report, any questions? I don't see any, call the vote, all those in favor? None opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now moving to presentation of bylaws, I believe. I have a motion moved by Councillor Olson and seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved that the Council for the Town of Pelham, having given due consideration to the following bylaws, do now read a first, second, third time and do pass the same, and that the Mayor and Clerk be authorized to sign and seal the bylaws. 139-2024, a bylaw to appoint Holly Wilford as town clerk. Sorry, that was hard for me to say. For the corporation of the town of Fergus, 40-2024, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 02-2023, confirming an appointment to the Committee of Adjustment. 41-2024, being a bylaw to amend Town of Pelham Bylaw 3186-2011, bylaw 42-2024, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a public events agreement with 4 licensed establishments in the Town of Pelham, and to repeal bylaw number 35-2023, and sorry, I can't read, 237? 2024, sorry, I had double print there. For you discussion and
Okay.
vote.
Thank you. After reading the reports and the bylaws, anybody, any counselor have any questions or comments on them? Not seeing any. All those in favor? And none opposed, motion carries. And excuse me while I shut my phone off.
Yes.
I got it right here.
Okay.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor. So looking at the time, I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Wink and seconded by Councillor Olson that the rules of procedure as contained in the Town of Pelham procedural bylaw be suspended, and the specified meeting curfew time of 1 p.m. is hereby waived, and the remainder of the business listed on the council agenda for this meeting continue to be considered until all matters have been concluded. To you for discussion and debate.
Okay, thank you. Call the vote. All those in favor? See none opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Meeting goes on.
And on. I have a motion moved by Councillor Eckert, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting be closed to the public in order to consider the following: personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, labor relations or employee negotiations, 2 items, and an advisory committee appointment and a non-union discussion. For you for discussion and vote. Oh, notice of motion. Sorry, Councillor Eckert.
Okay. I want to advise council that at the next meeting, and with the assistance of our excellent clerks department, I'm going to bring a motion forward for the installation of a stop sign, 3-way stop at Fort Robinson and Clager, as well as the installation of a crosswalk at an appropriate location in that area as well.
Okay, thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
Clerk.
So again, I apologize, Councillor Eckert. I'd only been reminded twice that you had that to bring forward. So we do have a motion now to proceed to closed session if there's nothing else.
Okay, all those in favor? See none against, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it'll just take us a few minutes to get ready for closed session.